and the SCVs are going to have to pulled off to repair. Vikings are helping out a lot as well.
Yep, and Idra, they're denying mining, not really able to kill the Thor or do a lot of damage to the mineral line, but stopping his opponent from mining and moving them out of position, and that in itself is a little bit of a victory there. His Mutalisk count's currently on 16. He is adding an extra one, and more Lings, and an Infestation Pit, and upgrades, and a Partridge and a Pear Tree. Just anything he wants, really, right now. He does have full, solid map control.
And he's about to take a 4th base as well. The Infestation Pit a little bit earlier than usual. Playing against this mech style, he will want to rush to Broodlords as fast as possible. And there is a huge timing for show there before Broodlords come, of course, because they take so long. The way that mech plays out on this map, once again, a 4th base is so important. If he can land it, control it with a Planetary Fortress and turrets once again, he has this kind of point where he can pivot left and right to the multiple different bases of Idra as the game goes on. At the same time, 4th base to 4th base is incredibly close ground distance, which means he can literally bunny hop 2 times, and he's sitting right in Idra's face.
Yeah, which is not exactly ideal. He likes his personal space. And Idra now forcing these Hellions back, some damage being done. And whittling down the Hellion count, always nice, and minimizing the amount of harassment potential that Show has here. Idra is actually taking another base over to the left there, out of range. Show will continue to slowly push forward. And this is the style of mech. It is a slow creep across the map, supported by things like missile turrets, because he knows how dangerous those Mutalisks can be. Unfortunately, there really isn't a lot of defense in the base here. There's not enough, certainly, to stop that Mutalisk harassment. Everything having to be pulled off the mineral line to make sure minimum damage is done, but supply depots being picked off every now and again. You'll notice that Show has actually built extra, so that isn't really doing too much.
Yeah, he knows they were always going to be a vulnerable area, and identifying that builds more just in case as well. So smart play. Vikings do outrange Mutalisk, and once they get to 4 or 6, they will be able to push them back. But the problem for Idra is that he's getting so close, or Show is getting so close to being maxed out. And once maxed out with +2, potentially +3 on its way straight away after, it's going to be very hard. And look at this fortified area with command centers that can be potential Planetary Fortress as well. May even lift up to try to expand again. And Idra's decided to go for Ultralisk over Broodlords here.
Yeah, it might not be a terrible idea, honestly, trying to break through, but I've got to say, Thors and tanks rip Ultras apart very rapidly. We'll have to see how that turns out for him. In the meantime, we have got a little bit of harassment right into this natural expansion, just doing a little bit of damage here and there, Ling run-bys, and trying to force Show to split up his army.
Yeah, this is pretty dangerous, actually. Show having a large force, a lot of supply, but not his entire supply on this left-hand side. And that's enabled Idra to run into the main base, but at the same time, his army could get caught out here. 3 Ultralisks are on the way as well. He's going to kill this hatchery, no doubt, but his return path will definitely be tried to be isolated by Idra, I'm sure.
Yeah, this is a deliberate ploy by Idra, trying to cut him down the middle, and wow, that really is a fortified area there by Show. Double Planetary Fortress set up in a defensive position. Very difficult to crack. Not impossible, however, with Ultralisks, so we'll have to see how that turns out. And Idra just sacrificed that expansion. The question is, can he get in a position to split this army down the middle and destroy it? He might be able to.
Yeah, there's so many Blue Flame Hellions, and the Lings go in alone. They're attacking the Hellions. Oh, not a good engagement.
Not the ideal engagement there for Idra at all. We'll see if he's got the numbers to do this. I'm not thinking he does. He really did just throw away a lot of Lings there. It was slightly too early on the front, and Show survives with the majority of those forces and can now crash down on the 4th.
Oh, Idra cannot afford to lose his 4th base. He needs the gas. Look at his gas in the top right, only at 70. It is so low, and with 70 gas, you can build Lings. Great, there's Blue Flame Hellions. You're not going to be able to do anything against that.
The Blue Flame Hellions have actually been drawn away from the Siege Tanks and the Thors. However, there are not enough Lings in there in the process.
And Idra actually catches a few drones being transferred to this bottom right expansion as well. And Show is on top of his game.
He really is. I mean, he's looking very, very strong right now. He hasn't really made any critical mistakes. Idra being caught out of position with a fairly bad engagement there in the middle, which meant that his 4th went down.
Oh, he's going to be able to capture this unsieged army, though.
Well, let's see if he can. And this is the thing that will turn it around. It's looking pretty good. That is a good engagement. Really good engagement there by Idra. He smashes that force in a matter of seconds. And that's what he needed.
Yeah, that's really helped out a lot. If Show had gotten all those units away, it almost looked like a clean sweep victory. But Idra catching those units is in great position. He cannot engage into this fourth base of Sho, though. There are way too many Planetary Fortress and units here. Sho, on the other hand, needs to start thinking about expanding to a different location. The most preferable location for Sho would be just swinging to the left with a command center. And look at this, using Vikings to pick an Ultralisk. I've never seen that before, but he's definitely going to get this hatchery.
Well, you didn't hear. The current meta is Viking is counter to Ultralisk. I'm not sure. We haven't obviously been paying all that attention. But whatever the case, it does survive. It would have been very embarrassed, honestly, to go back to its friends being beaten up by Vikings.
Most definitely. But the thing is, despite Idra having hatcheries all across the map, he's not mining gas anywhere, which is why they're expanding. And it's not good at all. He needs to get gas up, and Vikings actually landing to kill some Lings who didn't work out so well.
I have to wonder if he did that on purpose, because you can see there that he's actually building quite a substantial Banshee force, so maybe he was trying to free up supply to make that happen.
Oh, very smart decision to go into Banshees as well, especially against these Ultralisks. Idra doesn't really have anything to combat that. He is switching over to Corruptors and Broodlords, though, which may help out. But once again, you can see controlling the fourth base. You can swing right, you can swing left with Blue Flame Hinds, and all these drones are going to go down.
Yeah, and bear in mind that with +2, they do two-shot drones, so that is going to be a mess, quite frankly. That entire mineral line is going down, and that's causing problems, and Banshee harassment over to the side as well. Sho is hitting multiple pressure points simultaneously.
Two Banshees coming right down to the bottom side now against Idra. They're going to be able to pick off this Queen, stop the gas as well. Idra is just falling apart right now versus this extremely strong play. And look, the Ultralisks are caught out of position.
Oh,
They're all going to go down.
Oh, that is disastrous. Huge salvos of tank fire rain down on the Ultras as they are forced to try and break their way through. They can't do it simply because of the amount of firepower in the Banshees. And that, as they say, is that. GG, the first game of this Best of 5 series going to Sho.
Well, you know what they say, Total Biscuit, slow and steady wins the race, and with 80 APM, it's
well, that's quite appropriate considering the amount of turtling that Sho was doing there.
I know, but he played so well, identifying which map he's playing on, what is the best style on this map, and how to play against a predictable opponent. And Sho pulled that off well, and we are going to go directly into the second game, I think, which is Tal'Darim Altar.
Yep.
A ladder version, so it is the version without the little blink area, so there can be no Reapers or Blue Flame Hinds down there. And we'll have to see what's out of there. And that's a good win for Sho on a big map like that.
Yeah, it's a good start for him. It really, really is. He was looking in good form there. The mech play worked for him well, but just bear in mind how quickly Idra adapts to this kind of thing. If Sho tries to do the same thing over and over again, Idra will find the weakness, he will crush it, and put himself right back in the game. So I would not count him out at this point. Sho's got to get creative and keep that consistency up in order to win this series. We're going to be taking a short commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be going into Game 2 on Tal'Darim Altar between Sho and Idra.